What's going on, guys? I'm back this time with a heavy armor Magicka Templar build for the Shadows of the Hist patch. Now this build would work in the Dark Brotherhood or this current patch. Now this is going to be group orientated, so it's going to be ideally run in 2, 3-man, 4-man groups. If you play large group, if that's your style, this would work too. And if you play solo, a tiny bit of adjustments can make it suitable for solo. Now, it's not my personal preference for solo, so if you want to look for a Magicka Templar build that's ideal for solo, I will have a link in the description to my previous Magicka Templar build, which has high damage, high sustainability, and good tankiness, which is perfect for solo. It still works in this patch, and I will link that below. Anyways, guys, I don't want to waste too much time, so I'm going to get into the stats, and then I'm going to show you guys the gear. So, let me just get my buffs up here, and come on, there we go. Okay, now I got my buff, so I'm going to show you the defensive bar first. So guys, 4k crit resistance. Now I think that exceeds the crit resistance cap, so it's a little bit higher. You can go a little lower if you want. 4k is ridiculous though. The physical resistance, let me just buff that up again. 25k physical and 32k spell resistance, really high. We still have really good recovery, 960 stam recovery, nearly 1700 Magicka recovery, good max stats if you look at that. Spell damage, this is the back bar, so it's not too high. Now offensive bar, let's buff up again and show you the stats of the offensive bar. Come on, there we go. Okay, so we're not buffed spell damage, but we have 2400 spell damage, which is still good for a heavy armor build. It's not bad. It's decent. It's decent spell damage. Now penetration is what makes light armor builds do more damage. But we have 27k spell resistance, still really high. 20k physical resistance, still really high, and 3.7k spell critical resistance, really high. So with that being said, we have really good recovery still, even on the back bar. We have a high pool of max Magicka, 35k, 25k max health, and 13,000 max stamina, not 1300. So to look into the gear that we're using, now keep in mind, guys, I'm running Tava's Favor on this build, okay? And Tava's Favor gives you a 5 item passive. When you dodge an attack, you receive a blessing of Tava and gain 9 ultimate over 3 seconds. So a lot of people have been using this set. I made this set a while back. I had a friend make it for me, actually. I didn't use it too much. I was using it on my Magicka DK when I did play my Magicka DK. And I decided I would try it out on this build, and I had a good idea of what I wanted to put together to make a really tanky, really pesky kind of build. So you're going to need to run Elude or Shuffle on this build. You cannot use this build without that. Now, I don't have that on my bar currently because I reset my skills, but I will tell you and show you exactly what to swap out. So we do run 5-piece Tava's Favor, and we're running 5 heavy, 2 light, so however you put that together, it's up to you. If you have access to like a heavy head, that would be great, and a heavy shoulders. If you're going to run 5 heavy, 2 light like I am, if you could get the shoulders and the head in heavy, the best part to keep light would be the waist and the gloves. This is because they have the least resistance. So you would be able to max out your resistance by having the bigger pieces as heavy. We're running maximum Magicka on all of them except the shoulders, but you could put maximum Magicka on this. This is because it just came with the health. I don't know if I have an enchant for it. No, I don't have an enchant for it. But yeah, max Magicka would be ideal. You could go with the health though. It's not too significant. It's up to you. The 2-piece Bloodspawn. 2-piece Bloodspawn also gives you a lot of ultimate and gives you even more physical and spell resistance. So our spell resistance on our back bar would hit 37,000, maybe no 38,000. Our physical resistance would be in the 30,000s. So it would be very tanky. Jewelry, we got Transmutation, and as you can see, we have Transmutation 2-piece on the back bar to give us that crit resistance. This is amazing for Magicka Templars. Now our front bar, you can do a sword and shield if you want, and if you do sword and shield, use sharpened with a impen shield or an infused shield. It's up to you. But if you run dual wield, use one Nernhoned and one sharpened. This will give you more spell damage. Okay, guys, so that will give you, so that's the offensive bar right there. Offensive weapons and back bar with the sword and shield, and then dual wield swords. So you don't need dual wield swords, you could use sword and shield. Sword and shield would make you even more tankier, even on your offensive bar. But we really are very tanky already, so it's not a necessity. Okay, so skills. Let me show you guys what to change for the shuffle or elude, whatever you prefer. Before we get into that, just check out the offensive bar. So offensive bar is the exact same as my previous build, and just for you guys who haven't seen that, puncturing sweeps, damage, main damage, structured entry AP, a buff. Breath of Life is a heal. I like it on my offensive bar just so I can heal up quickly and go back into offense. Radiant Oppression is your execute. Inner Light is just more buff, more crit, more max magic. Shooting Star. Now, if you're playing solo or if you're playing very small group and you want to be very offensive focused, use Shooting Star here. If you're playing group and you want to be more of a healer, more of a role player, put Devouring Swarms here and put Rite of Passage on your back bar. So the healing ultimate, put that on your back bar. If you're going offensive, you'll have Devouring Swarms on your back bar. Okay, so on this bar, you're going to have to switch out a couple of things, okay? So if you're playing solo, small group, very small group, you're going to want to be mobile. You're going to need to keep Elusive Mist. So you're going to take out Repentance and you're going to put Shuffle right here. You have to have Shuffle. Don't skip out on Shuffle because that's the most important part of your gear. If, however, you are running in a very big group, and that's not how I personally play, so my basically advice to you if you're running in a big group was you could keep Repentance. It would be very good for your group, and you could get rid of Elusive Mist because you won't need to be too mobile, and you could put Shuffle here, and then your healing ultimate with Devouring Swarms on your front bar. So that's it for the what's it called, the gear and the skills. Now let's just check out the champion points before we wrap this all up. Cancel the redistribution. Okay. So my champion points are very similar to my light armor build. You can switch them up here. I just didn't switch them up since I was just running my light armor build. Cancel the redistribute. Okay. So this is a little more damage orientated. You can swap this out and be a little more ideal to your current gear. So 30 into Bless to get that extra healing. 27 to Elf Barn to buff up our heals when we get crits, and 100 into Elemental Expert. That will buff up our damage a lot. If you want to be more healing orientated, I would suggest putting some of these into Bless. 20 into Thermatur to get us that damage over time for our sweeps. And then on this we have 45 into Resistant. You could take some of these out because I believe we are past the crit resistance cap at 4,000. That's a little too high. However, if you do reduce that, your front bar, since it's 2 swords, will have a little bit less crit resistance since I am running a Impen shield. So it's up to you. Here I have 17 into Light Armor Focus. I don't necessarily need this. Actually, this is completely garbage. I need to redistribute that because if I'm running a 5 heavy, I cannot be running this. This is a waste of 17 champion points. This was when I was running my light armor build, which I just had to switch my skill points for. So put those points into here and here and here. There you go. So 60 here, 55 here, and 7 here. This will give you a good damage mitigation. 17 from physical. Since I am Breton and my spell resistance is a lot higher, I don't really worry about this damage as much. 55 there and 7 there just to reduce some damage over time effects. And here I just had 10 into quick recovery. If you want, you could get some physical resistance by putting points in here. So 60 into Magician, we want to reduce our magic cost. 77 into Arcanist to get some magical recovery, and 10 into Mooncalf. 30 into Tumbling, and that's it for the champion points, guys. Now, as for Atronak, that's the Moonstone we're running with, and that's about it, guys. So I hope this build helps you guys out. I hope it's a nice heavy armor build. I will try to make a few more builds for my other classes, Stamina Templar and Nightblade soon. I may experiment with some new solo builds for Magicka Templar, some light armor builds. But for the meantime, I still think my previous Magicka Templar light armor build is very, 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 very good. And I'm going to link that in the description below for those of you who want to check that out as well. And if you like this video, leave a thumbs up and leave any comments below if you have questions, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you guys soon. So peace, guys.